This arena is called Ultimate Champions, and to get all the way up here, you have to climb through more than 24 different arenas where you'll sweat, suffer, or if you prefer, spend a whole lot of money. And in every single one of these arenas, you'll run into all kinds of players. So today, I'm going to explain what your arena says about you in Clash Royale. If you're in Arena 1, you literally just downloaded the game. You're still figuring out how to drop your cards, and without realizing it, you've already started a new addiction. Here, you just throw everything at the bridge and you still win because your opponent is a level 1 bot. You get 3 crowns with 0 effort, dropping your cards worse than a monkey would. Honestly, you could play with your feet, your phone upside down, and you still wouldn't lose a single match. I'm also sure that in this arena, you fell in love with the Mini P.E.K.K.A. and you think it's the best card in the entire game just because it hits like a truck. If you're in Arena 2, 3, 4 or 5, you finally changed your deck. But of course, you didn't remove the Mini P.E.K.K.A. because you can't. Every new card you unlock, you throw it into your deck to see what happens. You also think you're insanely good now, and that this game is going to be your playground forever. But there's one very important detail you haven't realized yet. Yes, you're literally playing against bots. That's why you believe Mini P.E.K.K.A. is a win condition when in reality, it's not. If you're in Arena 6, you're probably stalled, stuck in a loop where progress seems slow. That happens because the game finally started matching you with real players who actually think, adapt, and punish predictable moves. Forget those bots, you can't farm them anymore. If you're in this arena, it's very likely you're playing a deck with P.E.K.K.A., Mini P.E.K.K.A. and Witch, a classic combo that tries to build a heavy push from behind. You use that setup because it feels safe. Drop the tank support with the Witch and pray the rest works out. It's basically the only way you know how to attack. You're still learning the core of the game. If you're in Arena 7, congratulations! You passed the first real filter that new players face, the P.E.K.K.A. wall. That means you finally understand a few more mechanics and subtleties of the game. You're not just mindlessly throwing Mini P.E.K.K.A. at the bridge hoping for miracles. That's progress. If you're in Arena 8 or 9, you probably use a deck you built yourself, and honestly, it shows. You almost always bring Hog Rider, Goblin Barrel, or sometimes both at the same time, a sign that you're creative but still figuring out balance. This is the stage where you believe you invented a super meta deck, but in reality you created something unusual that works because your opponents also make weird choices. You get a few wins, you feel clever, and you keep refining. You're also excited because you're getting close to unlocking the Dark Goblin, that card that actually does its job and makes you grin when you finally get it. If you're in Arena 10, you might have crossed over to what I call the dark side. Dark side, you ask? Yes, this is the arena where elite barbarians and golem become available, and that changes everything. You get hyped, you rebuild your deck, and suddenly you're spamming heavy troops at the bridge every time you can. Your deck becomes heavier, you think bigger equals better, and you're convinced that if it costs more elixir, it must be stronger. That's a natural way to learn, but it's not always true. Still, this phase teaches you patience, because big decks require carefully timed pushes. If you're in Arena 11, there are basically 2 kinds of players. Those who abuse Mega Knight to humiliate opponents, and those who are victims of that same Mega Knight abuse. There's no middle ground. You either summon the monster or you get smacked by it. This arena is where many players learn the bitter truth about the game. Clash Royale can be brutal. It's the place where the real pain starts. A universal truth is born here. The Mega Knight will chase you in your nightmares. Whether you accept it or not, share this with your friends stuck in Arena 11, but help them learn. If you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to follow and give a like. That small support helps a ton. When you reach Arenas 12, 13, 14 and 15, congratulations! You passed the second major filter all players face. You still struggle sometimes to defend against Mega Knight and other heavy threats, but you have learned to adapt and keep moving forward. You are a much more experienced and skilled player than you were just a few arenas ago. The game has hooked you deeper. You stopped being that small newbie, but also, let's be honest, you may have developed some questionable habits, like loving the firecracker no matter what deck you use. It's a little toxic, but it's fun. and it works for you. From here on, not only will Mega Knight still appear, but the firecracker phenomenon becomes a plague. If you're in Arena 16, you were convinced your first champion was the best card in the game, so you stuffed it into your deck without the slightest hesitation. It didn't matter if the deck lacked synergy or if you didn't actually know how to play the champion. When the ability is up, you press it and you do it with confidence. You'll trigger that ability even when it's not strictly necessary, because the feeling of activating a champion is kind of addictive. If you're in Arena 17 or 18, you're likely a returning player, someone who left the game for a while and came back after seeing clips from big creators like Jinxie or even Mr. Beast. You remembered your old deck from 2020, downloaded the game again. Everything feels both familiar and strange. You recognize certain mechanics, but you're lost with new systems like evolution and other fresh content. If you're in Arenas 19 through 22, you're definitely past the beginner phase. You've started to understand concepts like predicting your opponent's plays, timing your counters, and managing Elixir more effectively. You realize that the opponent thinks too. You've leveled up from Charmander to Charmeleon. You're now an intermediate player with a growing toolkit. If you're in Arena 23, you think you're amazing. And sometimes you are, because getting here requires skill. But be honest, most players in this arena overestimate how good they are. You're the type who abuses BM. You love a bit of trolling, and you discover that copying solid decks from the internet makes winning a lot easier. You started watching guides, tutorials and pro tips because now you actually want to climb, not just for fun, but to be the best in your circle. You practice, you study, you adapt. If you're in Arena 24, I'm pretty sure you have a complicated relationship with this game. You love it and you hate it at the same time. Your sole objective is 10,000 trophies. But just when you think you're on a roll, the ladder throws a level 15 max deck in your path. And suddenly that fully evolved Mega Knight flattens your poor level 14 Hog Rider. In 1/6 second you go from 9,999 down to 9,500 trophies and your heart drops. If you've made it beyond 10,000 trophies, congratulations! You achieved something 95% of the player base will never reach. You're likely the best among your group of friends. Responsibilities are an afterthought, and family time is negotiable. If you like this breakdown, share it with a friend stuck in a low arena. Drop a like if it helped, and follow for more content. Keep playing, keep improving, and remember, every arena tells a story about the kind of player you are. And the best part is you can always change that story with the next match.